Hi there, I'm Andy Stewart, Senior Game Designer on GRID Autosport, and we're here in Vegas.
What were your goals heading into this new game?
I think our most important goal was making sure that we kept our fan base happy. We certainly felt that after GRID 2, although it was successful in many ways, we'd set it out and we'd got it out to a very different target audience. But feedback came in and we were told, we really need to sort of consider our genuine motorsport fans. So GRID Autosport, that's our focus. We've gone back to razor-sharp focus on motorsport, making sure that our fan base is going to get the game that they deserve.
Can you give us a sense of how deep this game is? Maybe run through the 5 major race modes?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it is I think probably the biggest game that Codemasters has ever released in terms of content and breadth. So what we've tried to do is come up with 5 very distinct racing disciplines, we're calling them. So we've got everything from touring cars, very aggressive, close pack racing. We've got open wheel events where you need to be a little bit careful about collisions. The cars can't take damage. You need to focus on clean lines and maximising your speed through the corners. We've also got tuner competitions, which include drift events, time attack, and traditional racing in there as well. Very different cars as well, set up specifically to function in each of those different racing disciplines. We also got endurance racing, which happens at night. You've got to account for tyre wear as well in there. It's a very, very different experience. And then finally street racing, where we've picked some of the most iconic cities in the world, and it's close pack racing again. The AI will really fight and jostle for position. But the differences between them, when you actually get in there, you'll feel differences in the handling, differences in the way the AI works, and just the sheer variety of cars within each of those disciplines is huge as well. So a massive game.
Talk a little about the career experience.
We've really tried to focus on giving the player choice. We wanted to make a career that was all about building your own destiny. So we've given you the chance to choose the goals that you want to go for. You choose the teams that you race for. You choose pretty much everything, and you can change your mind as you go as well. So you can go in and do a couple of hours of touring car racing. If you feel like a change, you can switch out, come and do a bit of open wheel. It's entirely free and open. But within that, there's this long-term progression that builds towards, there's a couple of other goals. You can try to race for the best team, Raven West. You've got to be a proven champion before they'll make an invite, but it's there, it's an option. Another thing you can do is look towards racing in what we're calling the GRID Legends series. It's a sort of fictional competition in the game that takes elements from all 5 disciplines, combines them into one competition, and you've got to prove yourself in all 5 before you can get that invite. So loads of different ways to play. It's a very, very big game.
Talk a little about the online gameplay options.
Online, it's a slightly different focus. We've tried to sort of create 2 very different feelings, for single player and multiplayer. With multiplayer, much more about the kind of relationship you have with the cars. So by racing, you'll earn cash. You can buy new cars, fill out your garage, buy upgrades for the cars, and you've got to, as you race with those cars, the cars themselves actually level up. You get vehicle XP, and that unlocks new tuning and upgrade options for those cars. You can also customize them, add new liveries. There's a wealth of sort of personalization options there as well. Another important thing with the online stuff is this notion of wear and tear on the cars. So by driving them as the mileage increases, the cars just become a little bit more fragile, a little bit more susceptible to damage, and you've got to balance the improvements that you've got through the upgrades against this risk that they're going to be damaged sooner and potentially get ruined in the next race. So there's a fine balance between those components. Ultimately, though, it's about getting on the track and racing against your friends. So we've got a large number of different modes that you can do. So everything from online playlists, custom cup, where you can set up massive competitions and race the way you want to do. We've got split screen. There's time trial. There's a wealth of ways to play.
What are you guys doing with Racenet?
Racenet, well, we've certainly tried to sort of pioneer some new stuff there. I think the biggest thing for us is the Racenet clubs. Feedback from the community has told us time and time again that we need to have something that lets them form clans, essentially. So through Racenet, you can go and create your own clan, invite your friends to it, up to 100 of your friends in one clan. Once you've done that, you can then have a clan livery, and by racing in that livery, you'll earn vehicle XP for your clan. And then there's this big leaderboard that compares how all the various clubs are doing. So that's our big feature. We've also got an evolution of one of the features we had in GRID 2, which is we're now calling the sort of Racenet Challenge, which allows the community feedback to Racenet, allows to cherry pick particular events, and we'll download those into your game, and then you compete in those asynchronously from week to week.
When it comes to the actual racing gameplay experience, where do you guys fit in between the simulation and arcade modes that are out there and a lot of different racers?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. We've sort of thought long and hard about this, and we've tried to go for, I suppose we call it an authentic motorsport experience. So we're definitely not at the full simulation end, and we're quite a way away from sort of the arcade end. So we're not quite in the middle, but it's trying to give you the feeling of competing in a professional motorsport without a lot of the complications and fine detail. Instead, you get out on track sooner. We're focused on the fun of that, so somewhere in the middle.